Okay, everybody, we're live. It is January the 3rd, 2021. Y'all, it's the third day of the year. I'm so excited. Think about this. Last year, this time when we started 2020, and last week we did the recap. So we're not going to do that again. But it's always great to start a new year. Not that anything drastically really changed 3 days ago. I mean, nothing really changed except for it's a new year. So, but I don't know. I got excited about a new year, and a lot of you probably plugged in to the Ignite workshop, and you may or may not have. Some of the YouTubers you may not have, or your national may be doing. I know there's a big one next weekend too. So. If you didn't, that's fine. It is still available, but we are going to kind of recap. The directors, all the Boss Babe directors watched it, and I don't know about y'all, but Selah came over and two of my consultants, Pam and Catherine, and we just thought it was one of the smoothest, most seamless, professional, no glitches, virtual workshop that we've ever seen. I mean, it went right on time. They gave away all these Amazon gift cards, and the first little bit was a $20 gift card, then a 40, then a 60, then a 80, then 100. And I was lucky enough to win 100 one. So I'm so excited. I got to decide what I want to purchase. Amazon is so easy because, you know, you can always spend on Amazon because really anything you want is on there. So anyway, I'm super excited to kick off this year with our first Boss Babe call. And so before we do our little recap, I want to tell you about what is coming up in the next 6 weeks. We are going to start a little 6-week program, and it's called Boss Babe Warrior Girl. Boss Babe Warrior Girl. And some of you have been with me a long time. And in 2018, we started what we called our Boss Babe calls. And we had a little workbook, and it was really fun. Karen Riddle is a good friend of mine. She's spoken on here. She's a top director of Future National, and she kind of originated the whole Boss Babe idea. And we went by her workbook. And so she has kind of revamped it for 2021. And warriors are always in a battle, right? And so we're always in a battle. And so we're gonna just be talking about some stuff. And so in the description of this YouTube channel, I will put the link to this Boss Babe Warrior Girl notebook. And you will want to print this out. It's 21 pages. You can print it front and back, of course. But you want to have this ready to go for next Sunday night. So for the next 6 weeks, we are going to cover these chapters in this Boss Babe Warrior Girl. And there's a little assessment at the beginning that you're going to fill out. We're going to talk about it next week, but it's just going to help you if you have this kind of, in your hands before we start. So the topics are, what is a Boss Babe Warrior Girl? A Boss Babe Warrior Girl is confident. A Boss Babe Warrior Girl is disciplined. A Boss Babe Warrior Girl is bold. A Boss Babe Warrior Girl is active. A Boss Babe Warrior Girl is brave. And so those are going to be the 6 weeks in training that we're going to have to kind of kick off our year. And we're going to get ready for battle because we're warriors, right? We're not. Would you rather be a warrior or a wimp? Right? You want to be a warrior. No wimps in 2021. So be prepared next week. We're going to talk about the Bible, Joshua. There's some battles that he fought. So if you want to review the book of Joshua in your Bible between now and then, that might be something you could do as well. So I just wanted to kind of tell you about that. It's going to be at our same time. We always have it. We're just going to kind of have a little plan for the next 6 weeks. And we are not going to tell you all the January promotions, because we don't know what they are. They are telling us, Mary Kay took a break, right? So they're telling us in the morning, you'll see it on In Touch, and we're having a little, they do a little Mary Kay National Area does a little call for the directors tomorrow that we'll hear all about it. So kind of watch your Facebook group page of your director, go to In Touch, and usually they post it about 9 o'clock. I think about 9 o'clock Eastern maybe, but it may even be 9 o'clock Central, so which would be 10 o'clock Eastern. Anyway, y'all can be looking. I know we're doing the Spark a Chain reaction, so you'll be able to win another gift. I'm sure there's going to be a 6 months consistency club from January to June. for anyone that does the necklace. I mean, the 600 all 6 months. So I do know that much. A lot of the stuff, I just don't know what else there'll be. So we'll find out tomorrow. There's our little meeting tomorrow is normally an hour, and they're doing a special 1.5 hour. So the one thing I do know has changed is for the DIQs. If you're in DIQ right now, let's say you were in DIQ last month, but you didn't finish. So you're still in DIQ, or you are submitting to go into DIQ today. You would have to do it by today. You have to finish with 30 unit members instead of 24. That was one change that they told us a few months ago. That's no big deal. Do y'all know that 35 years ago, that's what I debuted with 30. What it does, it just gives you a little more strength. You're going to make a little bit more money. So anyway, that's that. So on to our little recap of our Ignite workshop. Melita Daly and Dina Spillman actually were our hosts for that night. And so they were the ones that kind of put this on. There were 11 directors and nationals that spoke. There were almost 35,000 people in the group, 35,000. And one time I saw, I don't remember how many. I know it was over 12,000 watching at one time, but I'm sure a lot are watching it like on and on that maybe couldn't do it Saturday because it's still there. And so it was so good for those of us that sat there and watched all the way through it. It was a powerful day. I mean, it was so amazing. And so I asked the sales directors to pick a teacher to share, 5 or 7 minutes about, like, just hit the highlights. We want you to go back and watch them, honestly, and take some notes. So, but we thought what it does is when you recap, it makes you remember and it makes you go over your notes. So if no one else gets anything out of this tonight, the speakers will, right, y'all? So, excuse me, I'm going to turn it over to the beautiful Cadillac director who just picked up her pink Cadillac last week. Oh, and before I even say her name, little shout out to Rosie Kane. Rosie is one of our Boss Babe directors, and she finished up the Chevy Equinox in her unit for the very first time. Y'all give her a hand. And she is actually sick with COVID, so she is probably listening, but her video is not on. But we love you, Rosie. We are so proud of you and your unit and what y'all have done during the pandemic in 2021 for the last 6 months. So she just picked up her Malibu last week and then finished the Equinox. Isn't that amazing? So now Latrice finished up her Cadillac, I believe, in September. And so she just picked it up last week, and they had a big Cadillac pickup party. So we are so excited for her. And, Jana put on our little Boss Babe Boxer group. She said, who is ready to win a car this next year? And we had a lot of hands go up. So if you have never won a Mary Kay car, or you're in a car but you'd like to have a different one, a bigger one, this is the year to do it. So let's just say 2021, everybody needs to drive free with Mary Kay, right? So I want to introduce you to our Cadillac director, Latrice Mahalik, and she is going to go over one of my favorite speakers in the Mary Kay world, the legend Pam Shaw. So Latrice, you can take it over.
Hey, everybody. So I have to tell y'all something. On my way here, I'm driving to my daughter's house to use her internet. I'm working on getting a new internet, but I have not taken my car out much because I didn't want to get it dirty. So anyway, the Cadillac dealership called me. See, we picked it up last Tuesday. They called me maybe Friday, and he said, how do you like your car? And I'm like, I hadn't taken it out. He goes, what? I said, it's raining and I don't want to get it dirty. He said, we have soap and water, right? Anyway, it was so funny. So on my way here, which is only like 3 miles, y'all, it's just amazing. Literally, the car is phenomenal. Okay. As Jana has told everyone, we've got to get everyone in a car, y'all. Every Mary Kay Salesforce member. Y'all, this car, you turn to the left and these big old bright lights shine down on the ground for you so you can see the road. You turn to the right the same way. And I was just like, it's the little things, but what a privilege that we have to drive free in Mary Kay. And it's just a blessing. But this is the first night I've had my car out in the dark. Okay. All right. I won a $20 gift card yesterday. I was so excited. I kind of thought Cleta might share her 100 with me. But anyway, I just want to say these women, as I'll ditto Cleta and all of her directors and the girls that came to watch with her yesterday, y'all, it was phenomenal. Something that just really resonated with me was every single speaker or go give. They spent their time, they studied. Y'all, these women picked their topic, okay? It was because of trials, it was because of eras, and now they have mastered what they taught us. And that takes a lot, y'all. And I picked Pam Shaw because my goal is to start planning. And so that is where I lack. And like Cleta said earlier, we pick who we want to talk about, but most of the time it's what we need. And so I picked Pam, but also during the presentation, I picked my word for the year and it was mindset. And so I looked it up today and it said growth mindset is all about effort. It's the hallmark of a fixed mindset to expect things to be easy, but success demands working hard. Okay, so I have followed Pam Shaw many, many years to feel the power. During COVID, y'all, she and some of her fellow friends that when she says she works out 4 times a week, she probably, well, I think she said 5 times a week, she does. During COVID, she did workouts on Facebook Live and I was on there. I was like, my tongue was hanging out. I mean, seriously. So when she says every word she says, she has lived it, she has done it. Okay. So let's talk about what really resonated with her and me. I mean, what just really soaked in besides the planning is you have to have the vision. It has to be very clear. Set your goals. You got to break your bad habits. Start new, start fresh, have a benchmark goal. And y'all know we've heard that before, but it takes commitment. Okay. So we need to, and I'm talking to myself, where are you going to be by the end of January? Okay. Where are you going to be by the end of March? And where are you going to be by the end of June? Y'all, we have got 6 months, 6 months. She talked about the habits. Okay. And 21 days, and then the 90-day planner that she has that has been approved by Mary Kay Legal. But you've got to have those goals and you have to become the better version of who you want to be and what you want to do. And whatever your goal is, y'all, it has to be so instilled in you that it makes you get up every morning and work for that goal, no matter what. No matter how you feel, no matter what's happened, you just have to keep going. And Pam is definitely an example of someone that keeps going. And I was reminded when she was speaking yesterday, and I don't think she mentioned this, but talk about commitment and dedication. She had her child at seminar, okay? That's commitment, okay? She wasn't missing seminar. She had the baby at seminar in Dallas. Okay. So what a dedicated woman she is.
And she didn't mean she brought the baby to seminar. She birthed the baby at the hospital in Dallas instead of Kentucky where she lives.
Yes. Like nothing would hold her back. Okay. So anyway, let's talk about your dream and imagining and planning. And y'all, I really believe in the visuals and the vision casting. And I know someone's going to talk about what Tammy Craig Smith said, but she painted such a vision and we have to have that. And y'all, I am so thankful for this Mary Kay opportunity. I just don't think that, I call it the other world, does things like this. Like, we are so blessed that we have something to look forward to and that we have someone that's pouring into us and talking about a vision and a goal and where do you see yourself and the changes that you can make. But the other thing that really spoke was the 2 words, wake up. Y'all, we got to wake up. And you know what she said? Poverty grows from unscheduled hours. So when she said that, I thought, you know what, Latrice, you have got to get back to what Mary Kay taught us. And y'all, it was the 6 most important things to do list toward your goal, not laundry, not mopping your floors. It was, if you see yourself in the Queen's chair for sale, sharing, whatever it is, those 6 most important things has to be toward that goal. And then the other thing was the weekly plan sheet. You know, Pam was such instrumental in, of course, her 90-day planner, but y'all, when she said, you need to plan out when you check things, like I'm on Voxer a lot, and I realized you don't need to be on Voxer that much. You need to schedule it on your weekly plan sheet. Facebook, are you scrolling too much, you know? And I had this habit where I only check notifications, because I don't know if y'all are like me, but if I get on Facebook, I look down, I've been on there 30 minutes. I could have been booking an appointment. Okay. So Pam talked about scheduling everything towards your goal. And then lastly, she was talking about have a win by 10, by noon, and by bedtime. And do y'all know what happens when you have one win? It makes you want to have 2 wins, and it makes you want to have 3 wins. So let's all y'all do what Mary Kay asked us to do. We have such an incredible business opportunity. I just am thankful that these women put this Ignite on yesterday. I'm not going to say I miss being, I do. I miss being in person. I miss that I'm not going to San Antonio and career conference. But let me tell y'all something. These events that are put on for us are amazing. And I want to thank Cleta for continuing this Boss Babe. I mean, y'all, this is great that we can get together, we can see each other, and we can pour our hearts into each other. And so I am very thankful for Cleta. And I just want to say, wake up. And thank you, Pam Shaw. She rocks. I want to be like Pam Shaw.
You know, that's the truth, Latrice. And it's funny because that book, 90 Days to Design Your Life. And matter of fact, if someone will, maybe Latrice, since you've already spoken, if you have time to find the website for that and post it in the message, if you will.
You know, she called it something else yesterday. Designyourlife.pink is the website. So I'll put it in here.
Look it up, and if that's what it is. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you so much. You know, Pam is powerful. She is, she does practice what she preaches, y'all. And she has always been that way. I've known her since she was a sales director before she was a national. And she's just full of energy and she's amazing. So thank you. You did a great job just highlighting her. So the next one is going to be Connie Bush. And Connie's going to talk to us about Heather Farron. And Heather was the queen of the Ruby Seminar. She has been more than once. And so I know I saw 2 crowns in the background of her video. She's a friend of mine. I met her at a workshop that we had a couple of years ago. And I really think so much of her. So I'm going to let Connie unmute, and she's going to do a little recap on the words that the queen of the Ruby Seminar sales had to say.
Well, I want to just piggyback on what Latrice said. Pam Shaw was really, really awesome. And gosh, all of the speakers were, you guys, every single one of them captivated me. Like I was just like glued to my computer the whole day. And some of my unit members I know were also watching. And so we have a little chat group going. So we weren't in person together, but we were all chatting back and forth. But like Cleta said, Heather Farron has been the queen of sales for the Ruby Seminar for a couple different times. I know for sure I was there at least 2 times when she was the queen, but she's almost always in the top 10. But she said that it took her 10 years to realize that dream. So one of the things that was an ongoing theme throughout all of the speakers was just never give up. You know, when you have a goal, you want to make sure that you keep that on your goal poster and you keep working towards whatever goal it was. So one of the things that, basically Heather was mostly focused on customer service, because since she's been in the Queen's Court of Sales all these times, she she shared with us some of the things that has really worked for her with her customer service. So one of the things she started out with was 5 truths about customer service. And I think one of the most important things she said during that part was just never, ever talk to your customers poorly about another company. You know, don't talk trash. Because our products speak for themselves, so we don't need to say anything negative about something else. So I thought that that was really, really important. And she said, you want to be loyal to your customers, you want to teach them. And she said that one of the things she started saying to her customers is that I can make an excellent living, and so can you. You can make an excellent living selling this product. So I can teach you what I do. And then if it works for you, great. But if it doesn't, no big deal. So it sort of takes all of the pressure off of her customers when she's showing them things. And then in the back of their mind, she's also kind of planting the seed that maybe this is something that they might want to do by joining her team as well. She says she, you know, one thing that she is guarantees about her people, she lets her customers know that she's a lifer in Mary Kay. She is not going to go away. So she said, you know, as consultants, you should make a decision if that's going to be your commitment as well. And then if it is, make sure your customers are aware of that you're not ever going to go away. You're going to be there for them no matter what. And I love what she said, show up every single day. And she said that she says, get up, get cute, be awesome, wash your face, and then go to bed. So I thought that was really cute. So a couple things that stood out to me that she does extra for her customers to provide excellent customer service. She said, every time, one of the ways she upsells is that every time she gets an order, she will call them and she'll say, well, since I'm coming out that way anyway, is there anything else you might need? And if they say, no, I just really need my Volume Firm cleanser, she'll say, well, how many of them would you like to have? I thought that was interesting because that just, you know, we as consultants, we always have it on our shelves. So when we run out, we can just run up to our office and pull out whatever we need. But customers can't do that. And you know, customers, they're going to get down to the very, very last drop. And then they're going to call you and they're going to want it, you know, that day. So she said that, oh, another thing she said that I thought really was cool is that you could be in the Queen's Court of Sales just by your reorders alone. How cool is that? So when you build your customer base and you build it deep and you build it wide, they're going to stay loyal to you. When you treat them great, they're going to stay loyal to you and they're going to constantly be reordering from you. And when that's the case, how cool is it that you could be in the Queen's Court of Sales just on your customer reorders? I thought that was really cool. And always think abundant mentality when you are delivering your goods to your customers. So she said two other things that she does that I've not ever thought to do. She said when she sends out the PCP to all of her customers, she sends a catalog out, she always makes up names to have an extra 7 to 10 sent to her own home address. So it's like customer 1 at her address or whatever. She comes up with these names so that she gets extras with samples in them. And then she keeps that in her car so that when she does meet a new person that wants to try something, she's got a catalog with a sample in it. And I thought that was brilliant because that's not something that I thought to do. And then the last thing I want to share that I thought was really a good analogy. She talked about, you know, when you go to Victoria's Secret and you buy underwear and they always wrap it really pretty in tissue paper so that it's an experience when you get home to open up your new underwear. But if you go to Walmart and you buy a package of underwear, it's just kind of thrown in a bag and there is no experience to that. So you don't really remember having purchased that underwear, right? So she said when she does her customer orders, she literally will wrap them in tissue paper and make the presentation really pretty. And that helps her customers just always remember her. And it makes it an experience for them to get the products from her when she delivers in person. She always sends her customers a birthday card. And I think one of the other directors talked about a birthday script. And so I think whoever's talking about that person will probably talk about that. But it's a little bit different than, I've always given my customers a 20% discount their birthday month. But, I can honestly say I haven't ever sent them out an actual physical card on their birthday. So that might be a new thing for 2021 to pick up and start doing, to make it more personable. And always value your customers like they are part of your team, because really they're the most integral part of your team, because if they weren't purchasing from you, you wouldn't have the sales. So
Okay.
I love Heather too. Cleta, I haven't traveled with her or anything like that, but I definitely go up and talk to her at all of the seminars when we have those parties and things. She's such a down-to-earth person. She's just fun. And I'm part of another director call that I do, and Heather always puts together a virtual star party with this group of Go Give directors. And so she is just fun. She's fun to be around. She's energetic and she's exciting. And I just love her.
I'm so glad that you shared with her, about her. So thank you so much. And I think, think about this. She sold more than any other person at the Ruby seminar. So we need to listen to her customer service tips. I think that was really, really great. Okay, next we're going to hear from Cadillac Sales Director, the amazing future NSD, Jana Struck. Jana is started the year off with a brand new team member. I was so proud to see that. And Jana is going to talk to us a little bit about National Sales Director Tammy Craig, and then also she's going to touch on some of the stuff that Stacy Kraft talked about as well. So Jana, take it away.
All right. Yay. Cleta, you just know how to warm my heart. Thank you for coming to NSD. So anyway, you guys, I'm super excited to visit with you tonight. And you know what? I just didn't know about Ignite. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of hours. But then when I sat down, I'm like, this is totally on fire. These ladies are sharing about their passion and about what their best skills are, what they're really, really good at. And so why wouldn't you want to go check that out? Oh my gosh. I went back and I watched the gals that I'm training on twice. And so, because I just thought it was so good, I thought that all of them were good. Okay. So I want to share real quickly about Stacy Kraft first, because she was very clear about the 7 basic skills that you all need to know. And you guys, if that's the first thing, this is a skill-based business. So what we want you to do as your independent sales directors, we want to make sure that you are equipped in these areas, because if you're not, we can point you in the right direction, or we can guide you, or we can coach you, or we can train you. Okay. So I'm going to go through these, and I'm going to be kind of brief on these because I'm really excited to share about Tammy Craig as well. And I don't want to take up everyone's time. Okay. So first of all, booking, that is the lifeblood of our business. That's the #1 skill. You have to learn. I would learn how to book first. If you don't know how to do anything else in Mary Kay, learn how to book appointments. And so there's a couple of different ways that you're going to book appointments. You're going to book the original appointment with the person, and then you're going to book her for a follow-up facial, or you're going to book her for a gathering with girlfriends. Okay. So, and you're going to book from your appointments. Okay. Second is, and by the way, booking is so important. When I was a brand new independent beauty consultant, I thought I'm going to be the queen of something at my meetings, and I don't know what, but wait, yes, I do. I can control my bookings. I couldn't exactly control my sales. I mean, you can, but I thought I know that I can talk anybody into, setting up a date to get together, for Pete's sake. How simple is that? So figure that out. #2, coaching. And this is what coaching is just ensuring that your appointment's going to go as planned. It's going to happen on the right date. She's going to have people there. Maybe, she's going to serve refreshments. It's going to happen after the party. So it's just ensuring that it's going to go the way that you plan for it to go. One time I forgot to ask, do you have a kitchen table we could get together at? And she didn't. And I'm like, whoa. So you know what? You want to plan for that. #3, holding a full circle party. You guys, you want to get all the goodie. She said it's like wringing out a towel and getting all of the water out of it. You want to get all of the goodie out of every party. So you want to be booking, selling, and you want to have some teammates. You want to have some new team members from every party. So you want to make sure that you're working full circle. And number 4, closing. And so there's 2 different, when we talk about closing, sometimes it gets confusing. I know I got confused when I was a new consultant, because you're going to do a table close. And by the way, I think it was Heather Fearing that did the example of the table close, and that was really good. So go back and watch that. I'm not even going to tell you about that because that's not my girl. So do the table close while everybody's sitting at the table. And the second thing is the individual close, where you're going to step away from the table, meet with everyone individually. And when you meet with them individually, you're going to do 4 things. You're going to get the sale of the product, figure out what they want. And the second thing you're going to do is book a follow-up appointment. Number 3, you're going to coach it. So you're going to, make sure she's adding some guests to that party so you can meet more people. And then the 4th thing is you're going to book some career sharing appointments. Okay. And then 5 is team building. You guys, if you are just like working your Mary Kay business and you're just selling the products, that's fantastic. However, you're missing out, and so are so many people. And so, you know what I want you to do is, when you get together with someone for a facial, you don't know what type of skincare that they use or that they should be using until you ask questions. Guess what? Find a need and fill it. That's the same thing you're going to do with the Mary Kay opportunity. You're going to ask them questions, get to know them, find their need for Mary Kay in their life, and fill it. So you don't just vomit stuff all over. She said that's what she did for a long time. It's like blah, 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 talked about Mary Kay, but you're going to find a need and fill it. And then people skills is number 6. How you work with people. Remember making sure that they have a sign around their neck that says, make me feel important. Number 7 is money management. So if you have challenges in any of those areas, make sure that you're talking to your independent sales director and she can point you in the right direction. Tammy Craig, National Sales Director, Tammy Craig. Wow. She always brings it. I've always loved, she's just one of my sheroes. Really, seriously. I love her nuts and bolts training. She's always got very direct ideas, and she is so good. So her training is, when your why is solid, the how will show up. And so she asked, why do you want to do what you say you want to do? You want to earn a Mary Kay card? Tell us more about that. Why? You want to become sales director? Why? We need to know, and I think that I need to know, why do I want to become a national sales director? What is it that's going to change in the lives of those that I am around? What is it that lights my fire? Okay, we'll talk about that more here in just a minute. A why is different than a goal. You might have a goal of becoming a sales director, but that's not your why. And I've struggled for years, you guys, because I'm like, what's my why? I don't know my whys, but guess what? It changes all the time. The why does. I've had different whys during my business, and that's totally okay. So, okay. So she told the story that she heard from Lisa Madsen. The boy went to the sage to ask him how to succeed. And so the sage takes him to out into the pond. And so he walks him into the pond. He's like, what are we doing here? And he's like, I'm going to show you how to succeed. And so he walks him into the pond and gets about up to his neck, and they stop. And then the sage grabs him by the head and shoves him underwater and holds him there. And the guy's like struggling. Oh my gosh, he can't breathe. He can't breathe. He can't breathe. And then he comes back up and lets him up. And he said, why would you do that to me? I thought I came here to ask you how to succeed, and you just shoved me underwater. And he said, well, when you want to succeed as much as you want your next breath, nothing will stop you. Nothing will get in your way of succeeding. Isn't that the truth? So, and I thought about that, and I thought, it's so important. Your desire is so important. So what you most desire from your business, what is that you most desire? And if you could click your fingers and you were guaranteed success, no failure, all success, what would it be? Your income level and your career path level. Where would you be on those? Make sure you write that down right now and put a question mark by it, because You should be answering those questions. And then your passionate why is how will your families and how will your life be improved by that change in your life? And whose lives will be better when you've reached that level? The beautiful part about Mary Kay is that you can't move up without affecting others' lives in a profound way. You can't. It can't even happen. So even if you move up and you become a senior consultant, you've affected someone's life for life. Okay. Red jacket, earning your car, whatever it is you're doing, even doing a party, you're affecting lives. And so that's so powerful. What a passion. Let's see. Oh, I want to talk about real quick. She talked about a gal named Michelle from Gloria Mayfield Banks National Area. And Michelle's son got accepted to a college, a very prestigious college, very expensive college, and he got accepted. And guess what? Tuition was $50,000 a year. There was no way that she was going to tell him, I'm sorry, son, I'm not willing to help you out with that. And so there was no way that she was not going to make that money. And so she went to work committed for that reason. So it's for those reasons. And so when somebody says, I don't know if I want to earn a red jacket. Well, you might not want to earn a red jacket, but you might want to make money to pay the bills, to keep the lights on, or to take your family on that amazing vacation. I was at a meeting with Priscilla Feeders one time, and she said, what brings you to tears? What stirs your heart so much that makes you cry? And I'm like, taking my family on an all expense paid vacation by Mary Kay, anywhere they want to go. And she said, go home, figure out where you want to go, how much it costs. And I want you to chart it out. And when you're going to have that money by, and by golly, that changed how I worked. And so that's so powerful. And so she made that tuition money, by the way, in 1 month. $50,000 was her paycheck was over $50,000 in the month of July, because she earned top directorship and they gave him $20,000 and she had made $30,000 in her paycheck. So you know what? Failure was not an option. So when you take failure off of the table, I can guarantee you will make progress. So what truly motivates you? She talked about this. I know I'm over on my time, Clayton. I'll try to wrap it up, but this was so good. So she talked about what truly motivates you. You guys, money doesn't motivate you, or y'all be millionaires by now, including myself. If money motivated us enough, then, because she said, Mary Kay's like an ATM machine, because when you get skilled at doing what you're doing and you are going and doing the parties, it's like an ATM machine. Money's coming. So if money motivated you, that's what you'd be doing. And that was really powerful. And then my favorite part, I'd never heard this story about Tammy, but Tammy Craig, she used to lay on the floor next to her daddy's chair and watch Miss America pageant every year. And he would tuck her in every night after that pageant and say, Tammy Kay, one day you'll be Miss America. And you guys, I used to watch. I remember the carpet in my parents' house. I used to lay there and watch it. And I used to tell my parents what I was going to do for talent. I used to watch how the women walk down the stairs, and they don't swing their arms like this. They bend at the elbow. And so I had everything down pat. And Tammy talked about, visualizing this. Once she became a high schooler, she started playing that comparison game in her mind and thinking, I'm never going to be Miss America. She went to her first Mary Kay seminar in 1994. She saw a woman get crowned as queen, and she cried, she wept, and she said, that's my Miss America pageant right there. And so you guys, she worked for 9 years, and she took her dad, just said, Dad, I got a big award. And he was sitting in the front row, and she watched the whole time because she had worked 9 years to see the reaction on his face. That was her why. Money did not motivate her. She was married to a man that could pay all of the bills. And so that was so powerful to me, because you guys, when I completed Queen's Court of Sales to win this ring for the very first time, when I got to the top of the steps, when they were walking me out, I walked to the X and I raised my arm to wave. and I remembered my little girl dreams of being Miss America. And there's something in my gut that said, you are supposed to be here. And so guess what? You are supposed to achieve those dreams that you had when you were a little girl. Don't push it aside. God will find a way, make a way, if you will be obedient and get fired up and passionate about that. She plastered her house with crowning and pictures of thrones. She wanted to be the #1 unit. And so make sure that you have the visual. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I was so fired up by this, you guys. You have to just go back and watch it. Cleta, you're muted. Cleta, you're muted.
Okay, sorry. I was just saying it's hard not to share it all because it was so good, every single bit of it. So thank you for that recap. Both of those were just excellent. And the thing that I was impressed with at on the whole thing is like, be a student and learn. Like the stuff with Stacy, like you need to study these areas. And one thing about all of you, the Boss Babe, Warrior Girls, okay, we have covered every single solitary bit of this stuff for weeks. So go back and watch some of them. Okay, next we're going to move on to Loree Barfield. And Loree is going to talk to us about Tanisa Jones and also Melinda Balling. She's going to kind of recap both of those. All right, Loree.
Okay. I really love the fact that so many of the different speakers, their topics kind of intertwined and they each related to each other, just like the things that Latrice talked about earlier with mindset. That's the same topic that Tanisa Jones weaved into what she had to say. And yet Melinda Balling, she talked about, some really technical mind things. One of the things that she said was that the subconscious mind is like the architect and the conscious mind is the contractor that is doing the work to create the design that the architect created in their mind, and that the subconscious mind does not know the difference between real and a lie, the truth and a lie. And so oftentimes we repeat things to ourselves. Honestly, we listen to a lot of lies about ourselves, like we're not good enough, or we're not enough, or that person's going to say no, or the fear of rejection. And so we really have to retrain our brains and look and figure out how to get our mindset right. And so what Tanisa was talking about is mindset is everything. We have to make the decision to do what we felt led to do. We have to believe that you can do anything you want. See yourself doing it before anything else. So you have to really visualize that. And that's what the other one talked about too, is how to actually do that. You have to be determined to accomplish the goals that you set. One of the things that kind of convicted me, and it kind of already leaned into some things that I was planning on doing for the month of January. So you can't sit and watch TV, feed your mind negativity, and expect a positive outcome. If anybody wants to join me on my 21-day fast of Netflix and TV, you're welcome to do that with me, because that's one of the things that I've already started. January 1st was to exercise every day, to read my word every day, and because I'm doing a chronological Bible this year, and to I'm not going to do mindless watching of Netflix. I even took some games off my phone that if I'm not doing anything else or riding in the car, I'll play a little game, because I multitask all the time. I'm like, I even took those off. If I'm going to be on my phone, I need to be reading my word. So, but anyway, she said, be clear on your goals and know the deadlines. Know the whens that you're going to do it. Know your why, and then grow your love for your business. And when sharing the opportunity, you really have to care about the people that we're talking to and to find out their why. Focus on genuine connection and listen for their needs and desires. It says, and one of the things that when you're talking to other people, she suggested, is find out if there were 2 things that you would like to add or have more of in your life. So when you're trying to interview, really find out what helped them, because so many people outside of the Mary Kay world, we never nobody talks about their why or why they want to do certain things, or they don't really talk about goals and things like that outside of people that are, entrepreneurs. And so sometimes you have to pull that out of them. So help them find their why. One of the things that I really liked, I thought it was a really good idea, is like ask them to describe their favorite meal in detail. Fully explain it. And the reason for that is because later when you come back, you can say, when they say, well, I can't sell, or, but just like, you just sold me on the meal that is your favorite. And so, because really that's all sales, that's what we do, is we just explain. I think Heather Faring, one of the things she said was, I just explain to people what I do morning and night. And if that works for you, then that's great. And I will take great care of you. And if it doesn't work for you, then that's fine too. So, but anyway, help them find their why. Focus more on the intrinsic reward from sharing the opportunity. And it says, are you letting your fear continue to determine your outcome? Fear prevents you from sharing and moving to the level that you deserve. And she said, what is the risk? No, of hearing a no. So she's like, okay, no. And I've thought about that. One of the videos we watched years ago was stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. Do you remember that one, Cleta?
Yes.
But anyway, but a no, you're no different. You're no worse off, but you could get a yes. And so don't let your fear control you. And you've just got to get that mindset. She said, be determined with perseverance, be tenacious enough to tell your fears to watch out, to back out and watch out. Don't just exist, thrive with passion. And then I want to talk a little bit about Linda Ballings, because what she said was really about goal setting. She said the average person makes the same goal 10 times. And the reason they have to make it again and again and again is because they didn't achieve it. And I, for one, am very guilty of that. And I think many of us are there in different areas. But one of the things deep down, we may not believe in ourselves or in our abilities, or we settle and we give up. Says you don't have to wait for magic. You're already wired for success, and you have the ability to design the blueprint. Back to the architect and the contractor mentality. We have that in our own, we have the ability to do that, because we have to control our thoughts. There's life and death in the power of the tongue, and it's very biblical. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And so one of the steps that she said is first, and honestly, this is old school Mary Kay. It's just a different mindset of it, because we've talked about affirmations, we've talked about goal posters, we've talked about so many things, but you really have to idealize is the first step. Design your goal in your conscious mind, determine the form it will take, and be that architect. So we have to design it. We have to know what we want, when we want it, and make those decisions. And no better time than the first of the year to do that. So then you have to visualize. The power of the subconscious is activated through pictures and doesn't know the difference in real or imagined. So you put yourself in that picture, just like Tammy Craig had that visualization of her being on that throne and walking down and getting that crown. We have to visualize that, and we have to emotionalize it. So we have to tie an emotion to it, because that's part of what helps that subconscious mind to create that image. And she said, then once you have that image, the conscious mind, it just automatically goes to create that. Sorry, I was timing myself. So then verbalize. You have to use positive self-talk and be the best coach and teacher. Your talk to yourself is the most important conversation you'll have. So write your own version of It's a Wonderful Life, record it, listen to yourself, do your goals, do your affirmations, and then you have to actualize it. Put wings on your dreams by practicing the steps and putting your actions, so you'll be more inspired to do the actions to fulfill your dream. So that is just a 7-minute recap of two really good speakers. Melinda Ballings one, it gets really technical as far as the subconscious, and so if you like that kind of stuff, it was really good. But those steps of idealizing, visualizing, emotionalizing, verbalizing, and actualizing are really the nuts and bolts of what you need to do the very same things that Tanisa Jones was talking about getting your mindset right. So I hope you will go back and listen to the training in depth if you haven't already, but those are some highlights that you can really take away from it.
Yeah, and I will just say this. I just posted in the YouTube comments and also in the chat here the link to the Facebook group in case you're like, I'm just kind of coming on board this train. What's Ignite? It was a workshop we had this weekend, virtual. So just click on it. You can they'll add you to the group, and then you can go and watch every single one of them. Okay, so we're going to go to Selah next, and she is going to talk a little bit about one of my favorite people, Dr. Lorinda J. King. So Selah, take it away.
Hey everybody! Yeah, Ignite was so awesome. The speakers were phenomenal, and I am excited to tell you about Lorinda King. She was powerful. The theme of what she talked to us about was making the impossible possible. And she said, when you put the I am in front of possible, that is negative. She said 2021 is the year that we are going to believe we can do what has never been done. So, she has been a sales director just a couple of years, and she is on fire. And so she truly believes, she is doing what has never been done. She is doing phenomenal. She said that what we do a lot of times is tell ourselves pretty little lies like, I'm not good enough, I'm not tall enough, I'm not a makeup artist, I'm not smart enough. And really, those are just lies that we tell ourselves. Kind of like Loree was saying that we have a lot of negative self-talk that we just tell ourselves no one else knows about, right? That's just kind of what we are thinking all the time. And she said, take all your negative thoughts and turn them into positive energy. We are called to become pink warriors. We say that we live in a pink bubble, and warriors are people that get up and fight, right? Fight for what you believe, fight for your goal. And she said that we need to become pink warriors, that Mary Kay Ash made the impossible possible. So we are part of one of the #1 sales forces in the world. We have an excellent product, an excellent company, and we need to stand up and fight. And she said Mary Kay empowered women in a male-dominated world. She took what people said she couldn't do and built an empire to empower. I thought that was so good, an empire to empower. And that's really what each of us are doing with our individual businesses. We need to use our weaknesses and turn them into areas of opportunity and cycle the success. Because no one is ever inspired by someone. We all know people that kind of just fell into something, and sometimes that is not near as inspiring as the people that came from nothing and built a business, built an empire, and overcame the obstacles. Mary Kay was unstoppable. She gave 2 examples of people that made the impossible possible. One was Bethany Hamilton, and she was a young surfer who was a competitive surfer, and she was bitten by a shark, and it took off one of her arms. And, certainly that could have been a situation where the young girl just said, I'm not ever going to surf again. I'm certainly not going to get out there and chance a shark biting another part of me, right? But instead, she taught herself how she got a heavier surfboard. She taught herself to surf, and she began to compete again. And then she gave an example of Eric Weinheimer. He is blind, y'all. He is blind, and he was the first blind man to climb the highest peak on all 7 continents. And so what she said is that, how they have the ropes and the different spikes, and he would listen to what his partners were doing. If they went clink, he went clink. If they went, whatever they did, he couldn't see, but he could hear. And so he followed their lead. And I thought I was thinking about myself, and so many of us, if you just were, someone said, look, you need to go to another continent, you know, we start talking about how am I going to get there? How long is the plane ride? You know, all the stuff that we think about. But this guy was blind and he overcame all of that to climb the highest peak on 7 continents. She said, what are we waiting on? Right? Latrice said, Pam Shaw said for us to wake up and let's get busy. We can't inspire people unless we have an area of opportunity that we have overcome. Most powerful, we are part of the most powerful sales force ever. And she said, you know, we actually have a heroine job, and a heroine is a woman admired for her courage. She makes the impossible possible, and we are looking for heroines. She said, we need to do what it is that we need to do and get out there and be pink warriors and fight for others to join us, because those that we are, you know, when we're all to ourselves, we are leaving other people behind. And so she was awesome. I mean, she taught 25 or 30 minutes and you could just go on, but just encouraging, inspiring to not let the negative self-talk get in our way, but just to get out there and do it anyway. Thank you.
It's funny, Sayla, because when she was talking, I was watching you. Sayla was at the house, and I was watching her. Sayla was like, the whole time, she's like shaking her head, shaking her head. And so I just knew that you really, you know, that was just like resonated with you. So thank you for sharing about Lorinda. She was something else. She ended it, which was so powerful. Okay, so Stephanie is going to come on next. And I know we're going just a few minutes over time, but it's not going to be too many more minutes. But Stephanie is going to come on here and talk about a friend of hers that she knows from Michigan. And her name is Shelley Smith. And she won the top director trip. I believe the last year was her first time. Maybe, I don't know if she was on the one before, but anyway, I think so. But anyway, she is going to talk to us about Shelley Smith and her topic.
Okay, good evening. So I want to quick before I light, if you have a notebook, a spiral notebook, and just get one a month, that way you can write down everything that you learn, have a reference, and in the beginning, like 1 to 5 pages, whatever you're track it in here. That way you always have one place to look for. That is from National Sales Director Diana Sumner. Also, because it's such a great event, remember to send everybody who talked on yesterday's Ignite a thank you note. And then also a good place to plug in is the $1 Million Messages. And Kristen Sharp on Thursday talked about filling out this page and creating a 2021 year in play to plan what you're doing. Okay, so Shelley Smith, I loved, she's a triple-star Circle of Excellence Executive Senior Sales Director up in Michigan. And yes, I've been in her space many times at trainings, and she is really tall, really slender, really magnanimous. She's awesome. And she said, it is Mary Kay halftime. So decide what you are going to do for your crowning moment the last 6 months of the Mary Kay year. If you're on target or not, it doesn't matter. So it's halftime. It's time to wake up, like the girls have said, and get busy. She also said that it is my job to work with you and for us to figure this out together. I love you regardless. Isn't that true? She talked about bookings and how numbers, you need to have multiple of them and to pull up and out yeses. No's happen, but find the yeses. She talked about a weekly plan sheet and that helps you work your schedule and it squashes you from being late and overwhelmed. I thought that was really good. That's something I'm starting. She really talked about the birthday bookings and that she uses social media, Facebook, for instance, to search, you know, you can find out who has birthdays on there, right? And I thought this was really, really intelligent. She said, start with what has won versus what you want. So what she means, or and what I mean by recapping Shelley, is using the script. So you find out somebody who has a birthday on there, start with your clients, and then build your business from other people that you know and didn't know it was their birthday, so you can celebrate them. And so her script was similar to this. Hey, Stephanie, a little birdie, and then in quotations, Facebook, smiley face, said, it is your birthday month, and you have won a beautiful birthday bundle. And then when you have continued connection with that person, because remember, it's what she won, right? It's her birthday. So we're celebrating her. She's won a beautiful birthday bundle. And then what you want is to find out from her, with continued connection, what is your experience lately with Mary Kay? Because of course, if she's using Mary Kay, we're going to stop right there, right? And say, hey, reach out to your Mary Kay girl. So I thought that was so great. Start with what she won, then follow up with what you want to do the Mary Kay the right way. Lastly, she quoted something she had learned from National Sales Director Julia Burnett. What if you believed in yourself for 1 year? Who would be affected? What belief barriers would be scattered? And to go to school on what you need to get help with. I thought all of that was so good. And then to wrap up with what Mary Kay said, it was always, I think it still is, in the beginning of our Mary Kay planners are really, really good and laid out too. Pamela Shaw's 90 Days is also great, but Mary Kay always, her poem, I have a premonition that soars on silver wings. It is a dream of your accomplishments of many wondrous things. I do not know beneath which sky or where you will challenge fate. I only know it will be high. I only know it will be great. Have a great year, ladies. Thanks, Cleta.
All right. Thank you so much. And I put in the comments over here on the chat on the Zoom, I put that script, and so that y'all can copy it, the birthday script. And then I'll on YouTube, you guys, I try to put it in the chat on YouTube, but it's too many words. So I'll put it in the description just so you'll have it. Thank you for recapping that. And Shelley is 6'2". And I told the girls that were with me, she and I did adult braces at the same time. So when I would go to career conference, I'm like, hey, we both had the big metal mouths going on. And so anyway, so we both had to compliment each other when we got our braces off. So she was awesome. Okay. All right. So is that it? Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. Okay. So I am going to talk about Mary Catherine King, and I'm going to make it pretty brief because of our time. So Mary Catherine, well, Ann Sherman also talked as well. And I'll just tell you the thing, and also Leanne David. Ann Sherman really talked about being go give, and she is a $1 million director years after year after year after year. But the main thing I put about her, and I just put this one statement: if it isn't working, do something different. So you guys, sometimes, there is something in just keeping on, but it's kind of like, if you have been doing something and it's just not working, you're going to have to do something different to get different results. So that was a takeaway from Ann. Leanne David, you've probably seen her. She and Kristen Sharp do a lot of, they used to do a lot of stuff about Merry Mondays, and they talk about holiday ideas. And so she just went kind of quick in talking about working virtually. And she talked about, number one, to dream bigger. And she said, triple the number of faces that you normally do. Like if you normally would do 30 a month, triple that, you can do 90, because it takes less time, a third of the amount of time. She said, number two, decide how you party and only do that one thing. Instead of flitting around. And at first we don't know what is our thing. Are we going to do Facebook parties? Are we going to do Zoom parties? Are we going to do FaceTime, Facebook? Just pick one and just do the heck out of that one until you get really good at it. And then teach your team to do the same thing, so that it kind of can simplify your life. Number three, she talked about book Nellie and book two from there. So Nellie, she said, you don't have to have like pages and pages and pages of booking, of people to call for booking. Just get one, get one girl. And she said when she started, she's got this one girl, this girl named Nellie, and that girl had a party and she booked two from there. And, then She had those two, but two from there. So get that one booking and learn how to book from your bookings. She talked about having a killer hostess program. Whatever works for you is going to be best for what you want. All of us probably do something different. But you want to focus on what you want on that hostess program. So whatever you're awarding her with, like her main focus is to have, she wanted to have 10 to 15 people at every party, not 3, on a Facebook Live. She said, so her rewards for the hostess were geared around 10 to 15 people on. That was her main thing. So they got gifts for 10 to 15 on. Number 4, keep it simple, sweetie. Number 5, have a, for sure, and we have talked about this a lot, ladies, about having a private customer Facebook group. You've got to do that. And she gave some tips about doing 2 posts a day. And one needs to be engaging, not about Mary Kay. She goes, think of yourself as a blogger. Okay, you're just a positive person that you do sell some beauty products, but you want to engage them, not being every single thing is mascara, $15, it's the best, cleansing cream, have some engagements. And so some of the stuff she said is, show us a picture of your pet. She said, like, I'd put all this other stuff. And when I did that, she was, I had like 50 comments. Everybody that has a pet loves to show you. If they don't, you might on the next one, according to your age, put, I'd love to see a picture of your grandkid. That's my age group for women. Or I would love to see a picture of your baby. Show me a picture of your kids. So she said, have some positive stuff like that. And then instead of talking about, eyeliner's $12 and it's the best, do a little short video showing them how to use eyeliner and how eyeliner is great and why waterproof is so great and all the things like that. Do demos. So I thought her tips on her Facebook was really, really good on how to do her groups. Mary Catherine King, let me see the high points of her. On her, really kind of like Latrice, she talked about mindset and having the deep and wide customers. And she talked about 5 things you want to have at your party. Number 1 is the most important of every single thing is have fun. If your parties are boring, we used to tell this to the sales directors, and I'll do training for sales directors. If your meeting is boring to you, it's going to be more boring to everybody else. If you leave and you're like, that was the worst. Well, don't think that your people didn't think that was the worst too. So you need to have fun, because she said that fun is the currency of people. People want to have fun. If anything that you've ever done and you feel good when you leave, what do you want to do? You want to do it again, right? If you go to the beach and have a great time with the 8 girlfriends, you want to go back and go to the beach again. Hello. And if you have a fun Mary Kay little party, people are like, that's fun. Y'all do another one, right? I mean, we do repeat the things that we like to do. So she said, you got to have fun. Look for new team members when at the party. So you have to have fun. And number 2, not sales, look for new team members first. Who is going to be your next team members? Number 3 is get referrals. Number 4 is get bookings. And number 5 is get the sales. Because a lot of times her mother and grandmother were also Mary Kay girls, and her daughter is. And so she said that she came home and her mom said she had a $300 party. And she said, well, how was your party? She said, I sold $300. She goes, well, how many bookings did you get? She goes, oh, well, I don't know. I may have one that will book. She goes, well, how many referrals did you get? She goes, I didn't really talk about that too much. She goes, well, what about, did you do any scheduling interviews? She goes, no. She goes, oh, well, you're just setting yourself up to build a small business. And so she said that really stuck with me about doing it. It's kind of what some of the other gals have said. So I want to mention that. So the goal is every single time to have 2 bookings. And she gives gifts for 2 bookings. So if Sayla's my hostess and I won't make sure I have 2 bookings, I'm going to partner with Sayla and say, listen, now, if 2 of your girlfriends that are on there tonight book a party with me, after they hold it, you get a free microdermabrasion. Now, of course, you don't have to do microderm. You do whatever you want. She does that because a new consultant can kind of get them free as some of their bonus products for doing Great Start. So it's something that won't cost them anything to get it going. So, and she talks about the microderm at the parties as well. So she really romances that and says, hey, now, if you hold a party and get 2 bookings, you get a microderm free. So I thought that was really, really good. The last thing that she said, because I'm going to skip a little bit, is 2 things. She said, when you're talking to people about booking and things like that, you say the words, it's what everyone's doing. She said, because if you say, that to yourself, that, it's what's everyone doing. She says at her closes, she would say, well, what everybody's doing is they are making sure they have 2 bookings so they get the microdermabrasion for free. It's what everybody's doing. And, or what everybody's doing is they're buying the skincare set and then they're also adding on a serum. I mean, like, just use that term a lot because everybody wants to do what everybody's doing. Even though a lot of us want to stand out with the crowd, a lot of people just want to be in the crowd, And so, like, if I start seeing all my Boss Babe girlfriends start wearing the Laura Ingraham Little House on the Prairie dresses that I've seen at all the new stores, I don't really like them. But if I see all of them in it, I may just be Laura Ingraham and slap it on. I mean, I don't know, So we all want to do what everybody's doing, right? In some ways we want to fit in. So use that term. And then also your magic tool is to think in your mind, everybody wants to book with me. Everybody. And I used to say that I'd say, everybody wants to book with me. As a matter of fact, nobody can tell me no. I remember before I was married, I was on a date and I told somebody that. I said, well, nobody can tell me no. And this guy starts laughing. He goes, that's funny. He goes, I think you actually believe that. I go, because it's true. And he just didn't even know how to take me, and it didn't work out, obviously. But I'm just saying, I know how to tell people no. Anyway, okay, so that just wrapped it up. I want to tell you what I did tonight while I'm on the phone, and I want you guys to do this too, is I'd like you to just get a blank piece of paper out. And so tonight I wrote on here, my goal, and I thought, when I get that goal, what would change in my life? What are some things I'd like to do? And I'm not going to read you my list, but I'll just tell you some of them have to do with things I'd like to add on to my house, like something that would affect me, my husband, people that come over, I'll just tell you one is a pool. I just want just a beautiful pool with a place you walk out with, like, maybe a palm tree back there and a place that you could entertain. I just want it to be beautiful. That is one of my goals. But some other things, that I wrote on here too, and to give, who would I give to, with the money? And then on the other side, I wrote what I need to change, and there's a lot of stuff I need to change. I don't know about y'all, but I know that I have not been working intentional in scheduling. I've just become COVID lazy at the house, because I thought about the other day, I never would just sit down here and do nothing like I'm doing right this second. So I know I got to get a lot more discipline to meet the goals that I want to get. And so, I want y'all to think about that and some things that you can do to really get yourself a little more scheduled. And honestly, if we all, I'm not kidding, if we all just put, let's just say 3 to 4 hours a day for the full-time people, 3 solid or 4 hours a day, not 8 hours or 20 or 40, just like 3 or 4 hours a day, and really worked your business. There is no telling what you could do. If you have a full-time job, if you just did an hour a day, you know what? You can do an hour, you can do a party. 1 hour, you can do a party, you could close it and go on to the next day. So look at your calendar and go, now, when am I going to put some hours in for my little side hustle that I want to be my full-time income? If I don't work, I don't get to pay the bills. So I do not have, I'm not one like Tammy Craig. So when she first got married, she didn't have to work. That her husband had lots of money. She goes, she just really didn't have to work at all. She never had to worry about money at all. She started doing Mary Kay and was very successful because that's the kind of person she was. And then she woke up one morning, and I didn't describe the whole thing, but basically that marriage ended, to shock to her. She says, luckily, thankfully, I did not put my goal on the side because I didn't need the money, So I think most of us on here are not that way. We probably could use a little money, but there are some that are, and there's other reasons you might want to do it. So anyway, thank you, directors. You did a great job recapping. You guys go back and watch it if you haven't watched it. If any of this kind of resonated with you, be like, Jana, go back and watch them again. I know there's some that I just really want to rewind. So thank y'all so much. Don't forget to do your personal, and Stephanie reminded us about this in the chat, your PCP, the Preferred Customer Program. There's new products coming out that is going to be like game changing in Mary Kay. Now, that's all I can tell you. We already know what it is. Don't you, assure director? Anyway, and it's coming out in February, and You want that lookbook in your girl's hand. I mean, if they have never bought Mary Kay, you might want to still put them on the list and get some books out. So don't forget, I think it's the 17th is the deadline, 16th or 17th. Y'all can look it up. Okay, well, we'll see y'all next Sunday night. Boss Babe Warrior Girls. Boss Babe Warrior Girls. Print your notebook out and get ready. We're going to have a lot of fun with it, and we'll have a plan. So you don't want to miss. Commit right now. I'm not going to miss it for 6 weeks. And after 6 weeks, if you are done with the Boss Babes, well, we'll just give you a hug and say bye. But just 6 weeks, let's give it to us. All right. Give us commitment. And next week, grab a sister consultant and say, come on, we're going to do this for 6 weeks in a row. All right. So you guys have a great one. We won't take any more comments tonight since we've gone a little overtime, but you guys have a wonderful, really first full week of the month.